Hi there, so welcome to the next lecture. Okay, so we've done our chimney in the previous lecture, which is cool, and in this lecture we're going to do our roof. But I'm going to introduce you to two new concepts in this lecture, and that is layers and tiling, neither of which we have done in any previous lecture. So let's look at layering first. So if you go up here to this toggle layer button up here and click it, you should get this little window here pop up. It's quite handy. Yeah, you can dock it like that if you want to, or you can just have it floating like this. Just make it smaller like this, make sure we can see everything. Okay, so what this lets you do effectively is exactly what it says it does: create layers. And what we're going to do, so this is everything. We've got one default layer at the moment. All our objects exist on that layer, and here they are here, and here they are. So what we're going to do is going to create a new layer. So click on the little plus sign, create new layer, and we don't want it there. Let me just move that back out. There we go. So we're going to call this, just click inside there, and we're going to call it UV'd, like that. So every time we UV an object, we're going to move it into this layer here. The chimney we've already done, HD hut chimney. So now we can move that into our UV'd layer, like that. And now we can hide it. When an object has been UV'd, we can move it into this UV'd layer, and we can just keep them all down there, so we just keep them organized. I mean, you can use this for lots of things, but this is a good reason to use it as any, so that's what we're going to do. And you can just so just close that, and you can always open it again just by clicking that icon, so it's, you know, it's not going anywhere. Alright, so hut roof. The hut roof is the next job, and we're going to tile it. We're going to set out the UVs and we're going to tile it across. I've also created a new texture. Let me see if I can display it. Yeah, so I've also created this texture. Here it is. I can bring it over. Okay, so it's just 1024, and I've included this with the lecture so you can download it, so you don't have to create your own. And what I'm going to do is put this onto the roof, and anywhere else where we have 1024 textures that tile, this will be used, so we can just keep a record of what we're doing, and we get a visual on that. And I'm going to show you now how to apply that to the model. So download that texture, put it in your I've put it in my temp folder. Remember, we created this temp folder inside here, TAG raw project files meshes temp, and it's in there. So let's just set up that material first. So we go into our material editor, which is this little button here. Click that. Again, just have it on in the compact view. So on the first one, which is empty, there's nothing in there, just click on this little button next to diffuse. Click meshes temp, and there it is. Open it so it's on your material there, which is, and we'll just call that grid map, and we'll just call the material grid actually 1024, like that. Okay, so that's cool. Let's just park that over there for a minute. So we don't need all these objects here, so we're going to hide everything else for a minute. So just go to our display tab, hide unselected. Right, here's our roof. Do you remember when we did this, we said we were going to put in a beam that ran all the way along here, just to block the light, and the same over here. So we're going to do that as well. I haven't changed anything else, although there's one thing I did do. Let me just unhide all of that first. Just unhide everything. Chimney. I reconnected these chimney pots to the chimney. Just thought I'd let you know that I just attached them in the usual way because I hadn't done it in the last lecture. So that is now attached. So that's one object. Just so you know. So let's hide that again. Hide unselected. Okay, so now we're going to detach all the beams that are along there. Yeah, like that. And then detach them. Detach, it's up here as well, so you can detach, and you can detach as an object and just call it beams for now. So that becomes one object. Now we're not going to UV those beams. We're going to hide that because we want to keep them there because we want them for reference. So hide selected. Right, so now we've got one beam which we're going to detach. Yep, so detach that. Just call it beam. So we've got the roof. And we've got a bit of roof for the interior here. That's for the underneath, the under porch roof. So that's going to have a different bit of wood. So what I'm going to do here is detach. We're going to have a multi-sub object on this, a multi-sub material size. So we're going to. So that's detached anyway. No, it's not. We need to detach that. So let's detach as porch. What do you want to call it? Roof, I guess we can call it that. That's cool. So we've now got three objects here, which we're going to reattach all back together again once we finish. So we've got the roof, HD hut roof. We've got the beam, and we've got the porch roof. So that's cool. Let's start with this. Now I want a different texture on the side. I want a wood texture up the side and on the ends, and I want a grassy, mossy one on the top. So let's do that. Let's select the top, and what I'm going to do is detach that. Okay, so and detach. Let's select these. Yeah, that's it. So detach that. So click on detach. I'll keep going over here. So I click on detach and I'll call it rooftop, like that. Okay, so now we've got four objects. We've got a rooftop now, and we're going to create a multi-sub material. So you know how to do that. Just click on the standard. So I cancel that. In fact, we can convert the one we've got. So click on that, call it a multi-sub object material there. Click OK, and keep old material as sub-material. Yeah, so you can see it's number one on our. I'm going to call that hut roof because it's for the entire object, not just for a piece of it. So that's what the material is called, and we've got our grid here, which is going to represent our grassy, mossy surface. Everything else is going to be wood, and it's all going to be cool. So we're going to apply this material to everything. So if we go back to hut roof, select all our objects and assign material to selection. So you just do that like that, and then we select rooftop. Select the faces like so. Scroll down. And we're going to make sure ID is set to 1. It already was, don't know why I changed it like that. And we're going to make sure we can see it like that. But now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tile it. And there's several ways we can do this. Right, so this is when I said to you there's several ways we can do this. We can do it here, we can leave it like that. So the whole object is covered with one UV space like that. And then we can take it into Unity and tell Unity to do it. Or we can do it in here. And I much prefer to do it in here, to be perfectly honest. So if we click on UV map, and we can click on normal align, so it's aligned to those normals like that. Make sure it's straight, and then we can fit. Okay, so it's stretched, and you notice it's only done the ones I've selected. So select the faces, and now we can tile. So on the right hand side here, it's got this tiling feature, U-tile, V-tile, W-tile, so ignore the W. So if you just slide these up and down, you can see it repeats it across. So what I'm going to do is 3 by 2. So we want 2 on the V like that, and we want 3 on the U. There we go. So what's going to happen there is our 1024 texture is going to go and be repeat. So we've got to make sure that this texture that we put on the roof is tileable. That is that. So that's going to be our grassy texture with normals and everything on there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put, grass on top of it and bits of plants and moss, extra moss and just debris, just to make it a bit more interesting and to give it sort of like a second but more physical layer. Okay, so it's put some under there, but we'll sort that out after. That's probably just the UV ID saying I'm number 1 there, so not to worry about that. Okay, so on this side do exactly the same. Select the faces like so, click on UV map there, click normal align, this button down here, and select these middle, anywhere along these middle faces, because then it will stay relatively straight. If you notice when you move it along, it tilts. That's because it's tilting with the angle of the face, of the polygon. See, the closer we get, the more, right, we don't want that. We want it nice and straight. So keep it roughly. I mean, you can always rotate it. If you click on where it's in here, where it says UVW map, click the little arrow, and where it says gizmo, click that. And now you've got control of that gizmo completely. So you can move it around and you can rotate it. So if it's not straight, just give it a rotate until the line on your grid is nice and straight with the top of the roof, and click fit like that. You can even just straighten it up a bit so it's really in line with the roof. Click fit again, and same again. So it's 3 on the U and 2 on the V. And there we go, that's the rooftop done. So we just collapse that, and that's it. That's our rooftop done. Now we have to do is UV the rest of the underneath. This bit under here, we're just going to put in a really small corner somewhere of our wood, because I'm not interested on the inside, but I want it there as a physical object, so I can block and work correctly with the light. But as far as our I'm not gonna worry too much about that.